Hey guys, welcome back to Passion for the Wild and Wonderful. I'm Chris Ashley. Today what I'm going to do is go over how to prepare the push-pull box calls and my standard paddle box call that I use when I'm turkey hunting. With the push-pulls that I have here, I have one that actually uses just a metal, almost reminds me of a paper clip that makes it spring-loaded to assist with getting it to respond back to the top position whenever you're going ahead and doing the pushing or if you're doing the pulling. This other type is actually using a rubber band that helps to provide the tension or the resistance. With my paddle call, it's actually a Nightingale Mini Jenny. This one here I got because it is waterproof, and I don't know what the actual material is, but it kind of reminds me of the bed liner material that is both on the box as well as on the paddle, and does not have to be chalked, but it lets me be able to use this call especially in rain or wet conditions. These two push-pull calls, generally if it starts getting wet out, I don't know whether it's probably just general dampness, even if I do try to keep the calls covered, that they do lose some of their performance, especially when it comes to being able to make some purrs. But what I'll show you is I just take some standard camo chalk, and I want to make sure and do this the night before, because one of the things I do is just apply the chalk to where I can see the area is that it runs across the friction location, and I'll go ahead and slide it back. It's pretty much a similar procedure too with the other one that just has the rubber band. But what I like to do is go ahead and cycle the call a good bit of time, and that'll help get that gross amount of chalk that's on there off. Not to the point to where obviously I'm going to be squeaking or squealing and it needs re-chalked, but I want it to get to where I'm sure whenever I'm using it I get good purr sounds. So what I'll do is just run it through a series of yelps here. Okay, now what we'll do is we'll go ahead and try and see how the purr sounds. If the purr doesn't sound good still, we'll go ahead and cycle it some more. So it's getting there. There, that's starting to sound better. So all I'm doing is making sure this has a decent amount of tension on it so that it's making sure to spring back. And then when I do my purrs, I'm just doing with the push of the finger, and it's just very slow so that I get it hopping down that point to where it's making the purr. I'm going to cycle it just to try to get it a little bit better. Okay, so now what we'll do is we'll just go over some of the standard calls that I do with this box call. And for me, really, I only use 3 basic calls on it. I do the cluck, the purr, and the yelp. The paddle or the other box call, I do a different variety of calls on it. I guess you could say too, I can do a tree yelp on this call as well. So we'll go through first with the cluck. It's just a light push, not a drag, but just trying to just get it a single pop. So what we'll do now is we'll go ahead and do a soft tree yelp. And again, a tree yelp is more of just a very subtle call, just a few notes. It's not something that's loud and very aggressive. It's just a soft, hey, I'm waking up, I'm here in the tree, just letting birds know where I am. As I said, just a few notes. Now what I might do is mix into it a few clucks and then switch it into the yelp. Now I won't do that all as a single tree yelp. And like I said, all I'm trying to do is just show you some basics right here of basic calls, not call tactic or strategies. So that was a cluck and a soft tree yelp. Now what I'll do is just the standard yelp when, let's say, the birds are on the ground. Mix in some clucks. So that's generally what I use this call for. Now, the other thing I do is I do like to have two calls in case, as a last-ditch effort, I don't feel that I'm getting good response. I'll go into the purrs on both calls to try to sound like a fight's going on between a set of jakes, or maybe even some hens are getting into it. And all that's doing is just trying to do opposing purrs on both boxes. Something like this. And like I said, that's just a last ditch effort. But again, all you're doing is some fast, louder purrs than what you would normally do if I'm just trying to coax in that gobbler. This would be my standard purr. A lot slower, a lot softer. Throwing some clucks. So this is the Quaker Boy Easy Yelper. I really like it. I've had that call for years. And then this one here with the rubber band was one. I'm not sure where I end up picking this up, but it's called Cyclops. Another good call, and like I said, I just like to have both. So next thing I'll do is go over the Night and Hail Mini Jenny paddle box call. Well guys, thanks for joining me. I hope you found this helpful. Look for part 2 of this series that goes into more detail about using the paddle style box call, and hopefully you'll find that helpful. If you did like this video that I did today on the push-pull calls, please subscribe, like the channel, ring that bell, and I'll have more content coming for you. So I wish you good luck out in the woods, and thanks for joining me.